Welcome to St Cat's Chats, the official podcast of St Catherine's British School in Athens. Each episode, we sit down with guests from our community and beyond to explore the role education has played in their lives, the impact of the school values of care, dedication, curiosity and integrity, as well as the intellectual and academic lessons that St Catherine's brings to life. Thank you for joining us.
We are delighted on this edition of St Cat's Chats to welcome Katerina to our school, who's just done a wonderful talk to the IB and lots of staff fans. So first of all, thank you very much for giving up your time.
You're welcome. It was an absolute joy.
Wonderful, great. So let's sort of maybe start off at the beginning a little bit in terms of your sort of journey and from Athens.
Well, I was born and raised in Athens,
Okay.
and I went to the UK to study, ended up staying there clearly because of the weather.
Absolutely,
Stayed there for 20 years, and then because of what happened to me, which was I nearly died, ended up becoming disabled and had to move back to Greece.
Wonderful.
Well,
I think we've done it all in about the first minute. Excellent. So UK for you was that school? Was that university? Was
university,
that
and then living there and starting stand-up there.
Ah, great.
Comedy, improv and stand-up.
Yeah. And what did you study at university?
Drama and theatre arts. I'm an actor.
Okay, excellent. And London's a great place for that, of course.
It's a great place, so competitive, but amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, as a father of a daughter who's just done a theatre degree, who's finding herself on different parts of the theatre rather than on the stage.
Yeah,
She'll get
that's
there
what
eventually,
ends
I'm
up
sure.
happening.
Yeah, same for you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. And what did you enjoy about that sort of cultural scene in London particularly?
Well, what I loved about London was it was full of everyone from everywhere. Because I got London, I think, I'd like to think of one of the best times, which was the early 2000s.
Okay, yeah.
There was, bizarrely for the UK, a massive sense of optimism. From 95 to 2005, I think, was like a golden decade.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm glad I experienced it. And it was, I would say, nearly magical for me. It was a time of hanging out with so many nationalities, discovering theatre, discovering stand-up, discovering all the weird and wonderful things London has to offer. There's so many things you can do for free when you're broke, which is amazing. There are things that are super expensive that you only do as a treat when, like, your parents visit and they pay for it.
And did you think when you were in school in Athens that London and comedy would always... Is that where you thought you were heading when you were 14, 15?
No, I thought the stage breaks by.
Okay. Stratford upon Avon for you.
That kind of thing, yeah.
Okay.
But I've always had a tendency, a leaning towards comedy.
Okay.
So should I explain that I'm not drunk and that I speak like this because it's an impairment after nearly dying? Do you think? I basically started doing stand-up in 2009 and I very quickly discovered that I work best in every country with the foreigners in every country.
Okay.
In London, I got all the internationals, and then when I came to Greece, I got the Brits, the Australians, the Americans. Then I went to the Balkans and got every expat imaginable. Then I went to Asia, it was the same. So I discovered that I was really good at performing to the non-natives, as it were.
Okay.
And so I was... In 2016, I came third in a massive international competition that was run by one of the biggest comedy stores in the States, the Laugh Factory. So I came third. The first person was Malaysian. Okay. The second one was Filipino. It was very much aimed at the non-English speaking countries.
Wonderful.
So then the Malaysian guy, Arrieta Tryphillis, invited me on a tour of Malaysia.
Right.
And in 2017, I went there because I was performing at the Kuala Lumpur International Comedy Festival, and then I was going to go to the Singapore International Comedy Festival. And while I was in Malaysia, an autoimmune something or other in my gut, which I wasn't aware of, exploded, which was, as I keep saying, very sexy. And I nearly died. They saved me. They were amazing in Malaysia. And I survived with various kind of impairments, like I can't walk well, I can't see very well, and I talk like this.
Okay. So your comedy career was clearly, taking off, winning awards and things like that. Fantastic. Was there a particular style to your comedy, where observational, or you?
It's observational. It still is. It's observational. Before I got ill, it was based on. I love stereotypes. I absolutely love cultural stereotypes and picking them apart in comedy. I love to hear what people think about themselves, what they think about other people.
So that's all played into the sort of different nationalities. So you're, I don't know, English gentleman in Athens, for example, or your whatever else it might be. Yeah.
Just everything, but it's quite funny, like, I was talking to some British friends and I said, because they were like, what's the stereotype, the classic stereotype of the Brits? And they went, apart from being pissed. And I was like, well, you're considered quite dirty. And all my British friends went, no, that's the French. I was like, that's adorable.
Indeed.
So I was kind of playing with those stereotypes of what you see yourself to be, what other people think you are, who considers whom lazy, who considers whom dirt, because none of it makes sense, and all of it. Like, it's based on tiny kernels of truth, but it tells you a lot about the people who came up with this stereotype as much as the people it's describing.
Yes.
So
and did that get you to look at the stereotype of maybe you as you were travelling around? Yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
So my first show was called Feta with the Queen. I discovered that having one foot in Greece and one foot in the UK, I never felt torn, like I never felt, am I more Brit than Greek now? I always felt superior to both. And I thought that was hilarious.
It's a lovely position to be in.
So I thought, and then as I spoke to more people, I discovered that when people spend a lot of time living in a different country from the one they were raised in, they do feel superior to both cultures, because you must know this. You're here and you're like, oh my God, these people are cute, what's wrong? Then you go back to the UK and you're like, who has dinner at 7? What's wrong with you? So you're like, oh.
This is worryingly true.
So I tapped into that. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, definitely.
So the show was kind of playing the two stereotypes against each other and how that it made me feel.
But also, I think you are, I, from my point of view, in an extraordinary, I'm very envious the fact that your language skills. I think whether you're able to go to the UK or Greece, for example, and speak both languages perfectly, whereas I cannot. So there's less superiority for me, because the Greeks generally are amazing in English, and I'm hugely envious of that. Let's sort of cast your mind back. What advice would you give to our maybe 15, 16-year-olds who are about to do different exams and things like that, and then about to head out into the world? What advice would you give to them?
The most important thing I've ever found is don't be afraid of failure. This is such a tricky time, like when you have exams or the final years of IB, or where suddenly everything, like the stakes seem so high, and if you don't get good grades, you won't get into good university. If you don't get into good university, you won't get a good job. Good job.
On and on, yeah.
Failure is okay, because sometimes, most times, failure sparks a whole new thing, and is the rebirth for something new. There are so many things in life that are either mitigations or very successful people who have created careers out of previous attempts that failed. My example, I was already well known in Greece, but becoming disabled and nearly dying, because when that happened, my cousin was putting out news kind of things on Facebook.
Okay.
And it was picked up by journalists in Greece. So while I was dying, the whole of Greece was, when I say the whole of Greece, I wasn't that well known, but people were aware it was happening. And when I got back on stage, disabled, for Greece it was such a new thing that I didn't hide. And even with my speech the way it is, I insisted on doing shows, and if you understand, you do. If you don't, tough shit. Sorry. So what happened to me has given me such a massive career boost that I wish I'd known sooner. I would have done it earlier. Because open mic nights in pubs in the UK are traumatic.
Hard work.
Oh my God, yes.
Hard work.
All I had to do was nearly die.
You are listening to St Cat's Chats, the official podcast of St Catherine's British School.
Yeah, and I suppose and you sort of think, and I often think, and I've often said in assemblies as well, that often the teenagers, dare I say, of today see success, and let's talk about comedy, UK, Michael McIntyre, Jimmy Carr, etc. And they see these great comedians with all the patter and all the everything that comes with it, but the work that goes into that.
Yeah, because both Michael McIntyre and Jimmy Carr have been at it for more than 20 years. And in the UK, it's a daily thing. You go out every night, do 5 minutes in open mic nights, above pubs, below pubs, in people's sheds. Oh my God. You interact with people who are vile, people who are wonderful. There's massive highs and horrendous lows. And you just have to keep going at it. But I adore London because it's made me who I am in so many ways. And again, one of the few Greeks who has been to probably every borough.
I think quite often, certainly, that sense of the UK equals London.
There's a lot of that.
And as we already said, London's brilliant, and I agree with that. But actually, there's so many other amazing places.
Brighton is fantastic.
Oh, great place.
Bristol. I love the kind of southwestish.
I'm from Exeter, so I'm very pleased.
I do.
I am.
Oh my God, I love Exeter.
It's wonderful.
I nearly went to Exeter.
Did you?
Yes.
It's a great
Last
place.
minute switched and went to Royal Holloway.
Okay.
Because the dorm department was more practical.
Yeah.
I love Southwest. I love the accents. I love the food. As I said, pop food in Southwest.
Yeah.
The weather's nice.
But also that sense of exploring the country, and the same with any country. I think it's important to have that as well.
I love that in Yorkshire, I have to say. Yorkshire's beautiful. Actually, I love a lot about I was about to say I love Manchester, I love Scotland. I've been to Edinburgh loads of festival and gone to Glasgow, kind of you try and see a bit of the Highlands, and I love the UK.
And there's that sense, isn't it, when you go into a country, and you've done lots of that, then actually it's about, yes, being in the place you are, but also getting your eyes up and exploring other parts that maybe are a bit off the beaten track, discovering those little hidden nooks and crannies.
And hanging out with people who, have spent their lives there, and they can show you, all the weird and wonderful things. That's, I think... My favourite thing is not visiting countries for a weekend, seeing the sights and leaving. I love going to visit friends and staying with them for a bit.
And actually understanding and also talking to people who you might agree with you and talking to people that don't agree with you, and actually having that sense of cultural dialogue respectfully and interestingly.
It's the respect for me, because it's fine to disagree with someone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's expected, otherwise life would be insanely boring. But you don't have to fight. You can disagree with that argument. You can go, I don't think that. And the other person go, well, and leave it at that.
Exactly. And your career now, are you doing lots of events in Athens itself and
yes,
further afield?
The whole of Greece, and I've been on a European tour.
Oh, great.
Twice, which was... Greece is very behind in matters of disability.
Okay.
I don't think I need to tell you that, because like having lived in the UK and coming here and being back as a disabled person, I was like, there's a level of ignorance about matters of... Because it's we're a small country and we're very conservative. There's a lot of what will people think, what will people say. We're very preoccupied with appearance. So anything that's considered less than is like, you're going to go on stage like this in a wheelchair. I'm like, yes, it's a gold leopard print wheelchair. She's going on stage.
Yeah. And therefore, I suppose you've got an opportunity, I suppose, as someone who's well known in the country.
Well, suddenly I've become an advocate for...
Have a voice for that,
voice for that, which I don't mind, and it's only needed because any disabled person who's vaguely famous in Greece is an athlete. And I think that's really unfair because they're famous for overcoming the physical impairment rather than like you need a lawyer, you need a doctor, you need a professor, you need... There's no cashiers who are disabled. Like, I remember disabled cashiers in Egham. Egham is the small village I studied
in Surrey, yeah.
Yes, it's the centre of the known universe.
We could debate that.
It's very debatable, very debatable.
But I suppose it's that use of that sense of lots of people in society thinking in terms of changing a viewpoint on all sorts of disability, though.
Yes, all sorts.
And that's the key in how one views that, and the young people today having, being that key voice for that, I think.
Yeah, and also having social media is very good for that. What people always go on about the kind of bad things or the disadvantages of social media. I think it really helps in so many ways. And making disability more visible in Greece is one of them. Highlighting the issues you could face. Because, again, disability in Greece is only physical disability. Anything to do with, like, autism or any mental impairments, they don't take into consideration or they're nearly scared of it. And very often they think that because you're physically impaired, you're also mentally impaired. My speech does not help matters. I have been spoken to like I'm a toddler.
Right.
And the way I have found to counteract that is start swearing like you wouldn't believe. The moment you can string 5 elaborate Greek swear words together, they go, oh, she's not disabled.
No. We had a bit of a laugh earlier because you said a swear word, I believe, in your talk. And of course, I'm not on to learning those words yet.
How long has he been here?
I know. Well, I'm very proper gentleman, of course.
I know, but...
And there was much laughter when a teacher did come straight out with what it actually meant. So it was quite an amusing moment for me in your talk.
It's also, was it the name of the place, Neil?
That's right. Yeah. I know it is a geographical place.
Yes.
Yes. And for me, I didn't know that there was another meaning.
Oh my God. It's,
I do now. So thank you for
You're
educating
welcome.
me.
Oh my God, I have a whole bit about that. Whole explaining what it means.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
As a Greek comedian, to nearly die in a city with that name was just glorious.
I mean, it's just giving you material for
forever
life.
life.
Perfect,
I keep calling it a gift from the universe.
So, Katerina, what brought you to St Catherine's today?
I am actually part of a student's project.
Wonderful.
Arrieta Tryphillis is doing a project called Life as part of. It's how humour helps mental health, because they're very close friends. I'm very close family friends with them. They've seen my journey up close.
Yeah.
And so she wanted me to come talk about how important humour was, which it is. In my case, it's been like, yes, the doctors did do a good job. Well done them.
Yeah.
But I think humour was crucial in not so much saving my life as getting it back on an even keel.
Yeah.
And keeping my mental health very robust.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah. To be able to laugh, I think, is the best.
Yeah. I think it was Charlie Chaplin that said, isn't he? A day without laughter is a day wasted.
Yeah, I so agree. I think they should change it to an apple a day, make it a chortle a day, a giggle a day. You need one of those big belly laughs a day. And I think it does keep the doctor away.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was here to tell the youth about the importance of laughter.
Excellent. Wonderful. And I think we always look back, don't we, in terms of where we have those special moments with friends and family. And it's often around food, and it's often around wine, but it's often about laughter, isn't it? About those sort of shared jokes, and every family will have their in-jokes and all those sorts of things. And that sort of thread of humour through our lives is so important, isn't it?
I think it's, well, in my case, it's crucial. I mean, right next to food and oxygen, I'd put laughter.
Yeah.
It's very
And
big
for you, I suppose, it's your mental health, but also your living. So therefore...
Yes. I mean, yes. That was my fear. Like, I woke up from the coma and I was like, am I still funny? And my brother went, you never were.
Yes. We've been playing along all these years. Yeah.
Well, no, my family is
much
much funnier than me. It's just I'm the only one who decided to make a living out of it. They're very critical. Hugely supportive, massively, very Greek. As in, yes, you can do this. You are shit, but you can do this.
Wonderful.
So,
Great to have that. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
It's been absolutely lovely to meet you.
It's been lovely.
Thank you for joining us on St. Cat's Chats. We hope today's discussion has sparked new ideas and inspired you. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to follow the podcast and share it with others. Until next time, remember, at St. Catherine's, we are a 3 to 103 school. You are always part of the St. Catherine's family. One campus, one community.